Hello, and welcome back to another Chris McPherson Show Daily Dose. And it's time to talk some Ashes cricket again. Day one is in the books, and it was a roller coaster, it is fair to say. And the bumps and rises and drops all started before play. Speaking of drops, Nathan Lyon was rested for Michael Neser as Australia, for the first time since 2012, decided to go an all-out pace attack with no Nathan Lyon in the side on home soil. Remember, they did similarly in the day-night test over in Kingston, Jamaica. We talked about that in our preview with Brodie Burrows. We didn't think it would happen. We thought Pat Cummins might be a late surprise. Cummins wasn't there in that starting 11. Instead, we saw Josh Inglis come in for Usman Khawaja, and as we said, Michael Neser coming in for Nathan Lyon, going all out pace. And is that going to pay dividends? Well, Australia may well be questioning after day one where their decision making led. But let's have a look at how it started. And as it has done 25 other times in his career, the first over of innings for Mitchell Starc delivered a wicket. It wasn't this time Crawley who was on a pair. He got his way off the mark in the first over. His opening partner, Ben Duckett, then departed, and all of a sudden Australia were up and about at 1 for 5. A couple of overs later, Starc struck again, taking his second wicket, and all of a sudden at 2 for 5, the English looked like they're in all sorts of trouble, and nightmares of a repeat of Perth were certainly starting to creep in. I'm sure a lot of the English were having reflections already on that turnaround and thinking, oh my goodness, we're not going to make it through 2 days again. But it wasn't to be, as the English started to show a little bit of resilience. Admittedly, wickets continued to fall throughout the day, but Joe Root came together with opener Zach Crawley, and they put on a really strong stand, which went a long way to easing some of the pressure. 117 runs they put on together before Crawley departed, and that allowed Root to set the platform to go on and score his maiden century on Australian soil. Despite some wickets falling around him, we saw Ben Stokes come out and bat with him. He was a bit edgy, he was a bit nervy. He managed to get bogged down a little bit and then just set off for a suicidal run out. Josh Inglis picked him off on a score of just 19. So it was just bizarre from Stokes. I'm not quite sure what he was thinking, but Jamie Smith then came and went really quickly. Will Jack steadied the ship a little bit in his return to the side, and Root managed to bring up that milestone, his first 100 on Australian soil. It's been one of the asterisks on his career for many, but at the end of the day, there might still be some questions asked, but we'll talk about that in a moment. We then had Gus Atkinson, who was caught in some of the most dramatic fashion after a big top edge off Mitchell Starc into the night sky by that point. Alex Carey was racing back with the flight, having to cover 30 metres and take a diving catch. As he did, though, Marnus Labuschagne came from nowhere, and it was like he was taking a contested AFL mark back in his GWS Giants days for Carey. He somehow hung on, much to the amazement and excitement of Marnus Labuschagne and the rest of the Aussies, as they started to get the wickets continuing. Carey also then took cast off the bowling of Starc, which Mitchell Starc brought up a sixth wicket there, and having England 9 for 264. And it looked like Australia might need to bat a little bit under lights, but that wasn't to be. Mitchell Starc's, though, wickets see him now as the most successful left-arm bowler in Test cricket history, going past a list of players in recent times to be 418 wickets, and absolutely just flying at the moment in this series. I think up to about 17 wickets in 3 innings, which is huge. He's currently 6 for 71 at the end of the day's play. But I really want to dig into and talk about the fact that for that final wicket, Australia completely lost the plot. It just seemed they seemed more interested in not batting under lights rather than getting the final wicket. The field were all out on the boundary, but Jofra Archer went to town anyway, plundering runs. He just teed off. He got a couple of sixes, found a 4 as well. And he found himself at 32 not out at stumps. Joe Root 135 not out, and continuing to pile up the numbers. England 9 for 325 from 74 overs. But yeah, I think England have won the day, to be fair. It's a little disappointing. I think the fact that Australia have allowed them to put on another 60 runs in this partnership already. They'll then come out and bat in the afternoon sun. We'll see how quickly Australia can get that final wicket. But again, Jofra Archer's going to have his tail up. He's then going to be bowling with his tail up after peeling off. As I said, he's up to 32 runs, which is now his test high score in 17 test matches. Really, really questionable tactics for mine. I get it. They probably didn't want to ideally bat under lights, but at the end of the day, you take the wickets when you take the wickets. From my point of view, to allow that to get through is, one of the blights on Australia's day one. The other blight on Australia's day one was at the scheduled close of play, Australia had bowled just 68 overs at the scheduled finish of play. They played the extra half an hour. They got through another 6 overs, but still fell 16 overs short, which obviously this is an occupational hazard of having an all-out pace attack, but it's really disappointing if you're part of the 37,000 fans that turned up at the Gabba, paid for your tickets, to be left that far short, especially when Australia made some decisions around that and about how they went about it, is really frustrating. It's really disappointing, and Australia will likely wear the wrath of that. Steve Smith as the captain, or potentially the points system with the World Test Championship. It's just, as I said, it's not ideal. It's not great, and I really think some questions need to be asked of it, because at the end of the day, the cricketing public should be getting that cricket in, and whether that's the people at home watching on TV or whether it's those that are paying in attendance, it's really disappointing, and it's appalling, really. 22 overs short of the required number at the scheduled close of play. They get the extra half an hour in, so they do get another 6 overs in. They're still well short of that number. It's just really disappointing for mine, and certainly goes a long way to suggesting that Australia probably need to relook at what they're doing here. So it is what it is. We may still see the test wrap up inside of 5 days. We know that, but I don't think that excuses it in terms of the viewing public. We see Sheffield Shield games where they can get 96 overs in a day, so I don't understand why they can't do this. They need to work out some solutions about making sure they get overs through in Test cricket, because this is not good enough for the paying punter, and they need to pick that up. The other talking point for mine is obviously Joe Root ticked off one of those asterisks against his name, which is the big question of an Australian 100. He's got that done here at the Gabba, and well done to Joe Root. I think we have to take a cap off to him. Darren Lehman talked about it on ABC radio. He is a fantastic player. He is a great of the game. This is a man that scored nearly 14,000 test runs and doesn't look like slowing down just yet. So he will go down as one of the great players to play for England, and one of the best batsmen to play in all countries. So well done to Joe Root, but still yet to win a test on Aussie soil. Will that be a double asterisk removed here in the Gabba? Well, we'll only know with time to tell. But for now, we look ahead to day 2. 1 wicket to get, the Aussies then to bat. Can they emulate what has come from the English? How will Australia look with Travis Head opening alongside Jake Weatherald? Can Weatherald get some more runs and add to his tally from his debut test? What will we see from Marnus Labuschagne, Cameron Green? This fairly stacked Aussie batting lineup that now runs even deeper with bringing in a Michael Neser, who you would expect would bat at 8 in front of Mitchell Starc, meaning that we've got a couple of players that can bat really well. Neser's got a first-class average of about 29. Mitchell Starc, we know, is one of the highest test run scorers yet to score 100 in his career. Alongside, the likes of Shane Warne. So really interesting to see now the Aussies batting quite deep, and looking forward to seeing how that will play out. But day 2 will be underway from 3 o'clock Australian Eastern Daylight Time, 2 o'clock local time there in Brisbane. Let's see if the Aussies can snatch that last wicket really quickly and get batting under the Brisbane sun, because that's what we're looking forward to. But until next time, big thank you to you for tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure to hit subscribe. You can follow us along on our social media channels to keep up to date in between our episodes dropping. We'll be back again tomorrow with an update on day 2. But a big thank you to you for tuning into your home of the black and white of sport. No grey opinions here.